Yo, this is Deadman from dagbuzz.com with your buzz for February 18th, 2009. I'm starting to feel like the economy is like that chimpanzee Travis. You heard about this story in Connecticut? This ape went ape shit yesterday. Totally started mauling the friend of his owner. And the owner, after trying to stab the chimpanzee and stop him from attacking her friend, called 911. Horrific, frantic call. She's like, "Hurry, please! He's ripping her face off! He's eating her! You have to shoot him!" And I feel like I need to make that call about the economy. It's eating us! Please, you have to shoot it! How fast can you get here? Apparently, when one of the cops got to the scene, he thought that the friend was a he, not a she, because he had no face. She had no face. A horrific story. Apparently the friend is alive and in critical condition. The chimpanzee was shot and killed by one of the cops. Okay, now to the real economic horrors of the whole nation. Our beloved car industry is back in Washington. And believe it or not, they're asking for more money than they thought they needed. Wow, what a surprise. GM is saying they're going to need $30 billion. That's more than the $18 billion they thought they'd need. Chrysler is saying they're going to need $5 billion in new loans. That's several $billion more than they initially estimated they'd need. What a surprise. I mean, really. And this is the problem with the whole process. It's because when you give them $17 billion just 2 months ago, what are you going to do now? You're going to tell them that, no more? No. They're going to continue to give the money they say they need because we don't want to realize the losses. We don't want to cut and run. You know, that's the whole thing. I see it in investing all the time. You buy a stock, it plummets, goes down huge. Even if this scenario is still dire, you don't want to sell because then you're realizing your losses. And so that's, they're going to benefit from that. And we're going to give them the money they say they need. They're also saying they need to cut, GM's cutting 47,000 jobs, Chrysler's cutting 5,000 jobs. And honestly, that's the positive in the situation, is that they are at least have now a plan that I think has potential if the economy does not worsen significantly from here, where they may be able to operate eventually at a profit again and compete in the global marketplace. The UAW has finally agreed to some fairly significant concessions. They're finally seeing the light. Sorry, Orlando. Not a big fan of the unions here either. And frankly, again, it's like I've been saying a lot in this situation. It is what it is. We're going to give them the money. Just like Obama and the other big bailout of the day, $75 billion for mortgage relief, going to prevent 5 billion homeowners who now owe more on their mortgage than their house is currently worth. It's a process called being upside down on your mortgage, and usually, if that's the case, it makes sense to put your keys in the mailbox and walk away, leave the bank with this vacant home, and have to sell it for pennies on the dollar. It brings down the property values of everyone in the neighborhood. It potentially increases crime. It's a negative situation for everyone involved, and it is this downward spiraling effect that you see. And I have mixed feelings about it because I'm a renter who's been judicious in my financial situation, and I frankly see this as being a dangerous philosophy because it encourages people to take risks in the future. It's why we got in the situation in the first place. People weren't taking responsibility for their actions. However, again, it is what it is, and it isn't good for anyone in the country to see all these homes going vacant, whole neighborhoods becoming basically ghost towns. That's potentially what could happen. It's kind of happening in Miami. It could happen. It's happening in Vegas. It's happening in Detroit. It's in no one's best interest to see that continue to happen. So if the big key is that you got to prevent people who can afford to pay their mortgages but are seeing other people get some breaks decide that they too want those breaks and stop paying or declaring they can't pay. And so there has to be safeguards in the plan to try and prevent that from happening and make sure that only people who are living in their primary residences and are having real difficulty making their mortgage payments see benefit from the plan. And I guess the smart thing about this whole thing is that now, after all these plans in the past few days, $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there, hundreds of billions of dollars there, $75 billion doesn't seem like a lot. That sounds like chump change. So I don't think Obama will have any trouble getting that passed. If anything, people may want to raise the bill on that relief package. One quick final thing. Greenspan was giving a speech in New York yesterday. I know the reason I bring this up is because I know on Dagblog we've been having a discussion about how we're going to have to take back all this debt that we're issuing to stimulate the economy when the economy starts to revive. And Greenspan, even though I think when the final list comes out about who's to blame for the crisis we got in, he'll be near the top because of his the low interest rate policies he pursued for way too long. You know, he still is a fairly knowledgeable man. And the one thing he said is that the Treasury and Fed will have trouble taking back the debt when they should, because Congress, the unemployment will not be back to full employment, and Congress will resist any calls to take back some of this debt and restore some balance to our economy. They'll be under enormous fiscal pressure to do the right thing monetarily, and that's what we've seen in the past. We've seen it a million times. We pursue these ambitious big programs and take on new debt, and then when the economy revives, we don't do anything to restore some balance. And so all you Keynesians on Dagblog, that's my main concern, and I really think it's past the point of no return. I believe at some point in the near future we're going to have to restructure our debt to foreign-owned countries, and it's going to come at a significant political and economic price. And let's just hope that we still are the best game in town, so we're able to do that. Okay, that's it for the buzz. I'll see you soon.